World Pro Racing, where sim racing becomes real.
Senna was a god. No one could even dream to follow him.
I'm from a very humble background.
The role of women at that time were really difficult.
This is so dangerous. You're risking not only your life, but also my life.
World Pro Racing, where sim racing becomes real.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and wherever you're watching in the world, welcome along to World Pro Racing. If you're watching us on ESTV, Motorsport TV, and TVM Sport, welcome along. If you're watching as well on Twitch, on YouTube, and on Facebook too, it's great to have you along here for German Fest. 60 minutes in a BMW around the Nürburgring. I can't really think of anything more German than that. Of course, the stream and show brought to you by Gaming Malta, AMD, HyperX, GT Omega Racing, Thrustmaster are our sponsors here today. And you're joining us here for what will be a pretty interesting race. There's only one car that the drivers can select. It's the BMW M6 GT3 that will be taking us around the circuit in just a short couple of minutes. We've got 15 minutes of practice, 15 minutes of qualifying, which will decide the grid for the 60-minute race coming up. One mandatory stop in the 10-minute pit window that'll open around 25 minutes into the race. Tyre change is a mandatory stop, however, refueling is not. So that's going to be an interesting battle for the drivers. When do they have their tyre change? Do they leave it late to try and make the use out of the fresh tyres at the start? Or do they try and pit earlier and try and get a little bit of an undercut? Maybe use those fresher tyres to their advantage in the middle of the stint. Whatever happens, it's set to be a really, really good show here at the Nürburgring. And it's great to have you along to join us for it as well. Well, the Nürburgring then was built sometime in around 1928 when the country decided that it needed more talent and it needed a fair fighting chance at competing worldwide. And so they decided to build a circuit. It was the Nürburgring. It used to be called the Green Hell by one Sir Jackie Stewart all the way back in the 1960s. And of course, that was the original Nordschleife circuit, a terrifying series of corners, which of course still exists today. We're just using one part of it, which is the Nürburgring, the slightly more tame 3.5-kilometre circuit, which we'll be seeing in a short moment in time. But plenty of twists and turns to this corner, plenty of undulations, as well as plenty of heavy braking zones to test our drivers and keep them on their toes throughout the entire track. And of course, if you're using a Formula 1 car around this circuit, or we're using a GT3 car around here, turns 13 and 14, the NGK chicane is slightly different. Luckily for us, we get to enjoy it as a flowing chicane. It's a very quick corner, that one, but it can be very easy to overcommit. There's a gravel trap on the left-hand side there. Just as we were warming up and testing the session, a couple of drivers were caught out before it. I will not name names, not at all, but you might see a very familiar name if you've been around with World Pro Racing long enough. Hopefully we'll be able to get to track soon and get this practice session underway. Hopefully join a little bit of the way through it as well. Take you through some of the drivers we will be watching on and seeing who can come out on top here tonight at German Fest. Like I said before, it's 15 minutes of practice, 15 minutes of qualifying, followed by a 60-minute race. And there you can see one of the names on that list is Justin Mifsud. Of course, he is, our broadcast director. He's taken himself behind the wheel tonight, seeing what he can do behind the wheel at the very least, as he now makes his way up the hill there, going through the Schumacher S, and now on our way now towards the Michelin curve. That's, of course, Nathan, who's our broadcast director for tonight. He's also behind the camera, so he's got it all to do tonight, so I don't envy his job whatsoever at all. But there is Justin then making his way all the way through, then making our way to that short, or I should say long run now, as we head our way through the third to last corner, going through turn 13 or 12 if you'd like to call it that, up towards the NGK chicane. Now this is what I was saying before, this is a lovely flowing section here where it encourages you to try and take a little bit of speed in, but you can see how bumpy it is going through the first part of turn 13 there. Then it's through the last corner at turn 15. It's a corner that's similar to the Hungaroring. It goes on for quite a while there. You've got to be really patient until you put the throttle down, as Justin Mifsud comes across the line then. His best lap time so far, 56.691, as he now makes his way now down towards turn 1, downhill on entry, and all the way down towards the apex. Very easy to lock up your brakes there and go straight on as we make our way now through the Mercedes arena, going in through turn 2. Then it's a short run down towards turn 3, again downhill on braking and on entry to the corner. Keep it nice and tidy, nice and tight to the apex. Very short run to turn 4, try and attack the curb on the right hand side, use a little bit of the exit curb on the exit of turn 4, making our way now on towards turn 5 at Valvoline. Downhill once again as you make your way through the corner. Downhill again as we head our way through the Ford curve. Slightly tighter than Valvoline curve as we make our way through, kicking up a little bit of gravel on the exit as we now make our way down towards Dunlop curve. This hairpin here braking now, and try and flick the car in, grab the apex by both hands and make sure you don't end up like the driver we just saw out of the corner of our eyes there. Now I'm just trying to see who that was out on circuit. Could have been the number 89 car of Tom McEwing there, who just ran afoul of that little bit of gravel there. Through the Schumacher S, and then we make our way up towards the Michelin curve. Keep it nice and tidy. Again, using that little bit of exit curve, quickly over to the left-hand side of the track to take the Vorsteiner curve. Using all that exit possible then to open up the corner through the fast right-hander of Advan as we make our way towards NGK. Nice set of corners. This one again bumpy on entry there. Oh, you can see the opposite lock there. The car was simply not happy about that. And Justin Mifsud unfortunately runs foul of the cameras there. Just the right place at the right time for us. Unfortunately for Justin, it was the absolute wrong time to join him there. There's our current leader in this practice session. It's Florent Lecour, who's making his way through that chicane now and onwards towards the final corner. He backs out of it though, and we'll see if he comes back to the pit lane. I mean, it's only on the right-hand side there. He didn't have to drive back in, so he's gearing himself for another lap. 55.302 is the fastest lap of this practice session so far. Riding on board then with Florent Lecour as he takes us on a lap of this circuit then as we make our way down towards turn 1. And again, downhill on entry as you start braking, slowing the car down for the corner here. Down into first gear to make sure the car turns in for the corner. The exit speed there as we make our way through turn 2. It's almost like you're going over a slight crest through turn 2. The back end will try and step out on you if you're not careful. In through turn 3. Keep it nice and tight to make sure you can really carry as much speed as possible through turn 4. You can sacrifice the exit of turn 3 so long as you get the speed in through turn 4. Way through 5 and then through turn 6 through Michelin, and now here at the Vorsteiner curve. Using plenty of exit curve on the exit there on the left hand side as we make our way to the Dunlop curve. Turn 7, braking hard then, using a little bit of curve on the left hand side, and you saw the wheels straighten up there. And that's to allow the drivers to slow the car down as quickly as possible without locking a brake. But that steering wheel has to be absolutely straight whilst you're doing that. Going now through the Michael Schumacher S as you head through turns 8 and 9, as we head towards the Michelin curve through turn 10. Again, picking out your braking point about 100 metres before the corner, you can start braking. A little bit of undulation on the exit as we make our way through the Vorsteiner curve. And again, lighting up the rear tyres slightly as we head towards Advan through this long right-hander, flat out through here easily. And now towards the NGK chicane. You get your braking point here. It's about 60 metres before the corner. Be brave through here, ride the bumps, and then through the final corner, turn 15. Keeping it nice and tight. Try and find the apex out there. It's the quickest way through the corner. Don't be too impatient, otherwise you'll scrub off the speed as Florent Lecour takes us on a lap and sets the fastest lap of this practice session so far. 54.78 is the fastest lap so far. David Ohack is in second place. He's just over half a second off the lead pace. Jan-Niklas Erbrich is in third place, exactly 6/10 down on our leader. There is David Ohack in the DJ Racing BMW. I would say BMW for all the cars, as we know. It is the M6 GT3 that we are using tonight. Every driver has to use that one if they're entering here tonight. And David Ohack running the number 13 out there. Unlucky for some, but David Ohack is hoping that it will bring him some luck here tonight. Jan Ryler is currently in 4th place, then it's Peresada in 5th, Tom McEwing in 6th, Bourne in 7th, Rissart in 8th, Mifsud in 9th, and Piermit rounding off the top 10. And as you can see here, there is Sandro Zara in the XR Virtual Motorsport BMW as he makes his way now onwards. He goes towards Valvoline and Ford. Taking our corner in the back end, not happy with that one as he has to bail out of that corner going into Vorsteiner. Oh, sorry, into Ford curve. As he just takes a little trip across the gravel there and decides that's enough for his lap. There is Rainer Rissart, who's currently in the pit lane, 8th fastest in the number 690 car. Just under 2 seconds off the lead pace right now. There's Jan Ryler in the BMW there, nice looking BMW, lots of black and orange on that livery there in the number 9 car, making his way now through the Dunlop curve, through turn 7, as we then build up the speed, go through the gears once again, as we make our way through turns 8 and 9, through the Michael Schumacher S. Still climbing as you make your way towards the Michelin curve. Again, slowing that car down, making sure you can grab that little bit of curb there. See if you can try and grab yourself into the corner. There's a lot of grip on those curves. You can see where all that rubber's lying down there. Very, very tempting to try and use that as much as possible. If you've noticed already in the top right-hand corner, the wind is pretty still out here. 2 kilometers an hour gusts at the moment, south-southerly direction. So it's a little bit of a headwind if you're coming up towards this chicane here right now. So that can help you slow the car down, but through a period of the circuit where you really want to attack the corner as much as possible, not really ideal to have a southerly wind over the circuit. There's Jan Ryler, who goes faster and goes into 4th place with that last lap time. 55.7 puts him into 4th place, as we see Florent Lecour has lowered the bar yet again. He's now 54.399, almost a second clear of any other driver. And there is Silver Pyrmits in the Ninko Racing number 23. 57.123 is currently good enough for 10th fastest in this practice session, as he now makes his way, descends down towards the Dunlop curve. Taking a wider line through there, try and carry a bit more speed on the exit, but that's the problem. You get out onto the marbles there and there's just absolutely no grip for you to take advantage of, as he makes his way through the Michael Schumacher S and climbing towards Michelin curve. Slowing that car down, using that little bit of AstroTurf on the right hand side, going in towards the Michelin curve. Open up the corner a little bit, help you carry more speed through Vorsteiner, as we make our way now towards Advan again. Easy flat right here, and Silver Pyrmits prepares himself now for NGK. This fast flowing chicane here, bumpy again through the entry. We've already seen it catch out one driver, and Justin Mifsud here. As you can see there, Pyrmits a little bit more cautious than other drivers we've seen so far. Definite respect for the bumps as he makes his way through turn 15 and towards the start finish line. Can he make an improvement on his lap time? He's currently 10th fastest in this practice session, and he doesn't go faster. That's probably why though, because he was on a cool down lap. He'll now go for another lap down in towards the first corner. There's Kirsten Abaya, as he's gone off the circuit as well. He's decided that that's not good enough for him, and he will come back to the pit lane and try again. There's Michael Peresada, who rides the curb there and is met with some grass, and that's the loss of the car into the wall, just entering the I think that was a Ford actually, just entering Ford curve. You've got the Armco on the left hand side, a little bit of a wound on the car, but it's nothing lost. You might as well make your mistakes here in this practice session. That's what it's there for. It's your last opportunity to push without any punishment, really. Jan Ryler in the number 9 BMW makes his way in through now turn 4 and all the way through. And it's a really frustrating part of the circuit there, going through turns 2, 3 and 4, especially 3 and 4. It's almost like you have to sacrifice that exit of turn 3 in order to make sure you get the apex for turn 4. So it always feels like it's not quite the best line through there, but the drivers will have been doing this time and time again, putting plenty of hours into this and discovering that that is the best line going through there, is just to sacrifice that exit of turn 3 so that it opens up the corner a little bit. As you see there, Jan Ryler, another similar line coming into the Dunlop curve, where it's almost like they snap the car to the right just as they start braking and make sure they do all their braking in a straight line. That way the brakes don't lock up as easily as if you were braking and turning. Because I think drivers have found out that trail braking into turn 7 doesn't quite work in these cars. As we see now, Ryler make his way through Vorsteiner. Again, downhill on the exit. Can promote a bit of understeer if you apply the power too early. As we head now through Advan. Flying right-hander there. Up the hill we go then, as he slows that car down for the final chicane. On towards turn 15, and again using that curve on the left-hand side, open up the corner a little bit more. And as he now puts the boot down on the right pedal, builds up the speed once again. Can he go faster than 4th fastest maybe? He's close though, 0.03 of a second within his best lap time so far, so that's pretty consistent. If he's focusing on race pace, that's really encouraging. There is Luke Caruana in the number 44 BMW, making his way back into the pit lane. He's 5.5 seconds off the lead pace at the moment, but still a couple of minutes left in qualifying at the very least for him to see if he can get some race pace on there, maybe a quali lap or two before the end of the session. There is your current fastest driver in this practice session, Florent Lecour. And it's always interesting when it comes to a practice session. You don't want to leave too much on the line because you'll actually reveal to other drivers what your true pace is, especially in qualifying. But when you come to actually in the race, you've got some race pace on your hands. It can be a little bit tricky. How much do you want to give away? How much do you want to show drivers what your pace is? How much of your hand do you want to show? So it should be, we get to qualifying, and I'm expecting from Florent Lecour a high 53, if not a very, very low 154 from him in qualifying, because he won't be running full quali trim at this moment in time, as he now makes his way down towards the Dunlop curve. And currently fastest in the session so far as he makes his way through. And it's currently, yeah, as you say, the fastest driver on the track right now by almost a second as we leave practice where it is at that moment in time. We should have qualifying up very, very shortly, but very encouraging from Florent Lecour then, being a second clear of anybody else. David Ohack hoping that number 13 car will bring him some luck going in towards the race then. And we've already seen Justin Mifsud fall foul of that final chicane. Very bumpy on the entry into the corner there. Got to be very careful about that in the race, because with a heavy car on the very first lap of the race, drivers don't have to refuel in this race. They have to change their tyres though at least once in that mandatory pit window. So it all stems to the drivers really having to try and cope with a heavy car at the very beginning of this race, because they don't want to lose too much time in the pit lane. But how much do you leave in the tank to make sure that you have enough fuel for the race but don't lose as much time on track? It's all strategic. I'm glad I'm in the commentary box for this one, that is for sure. But what the drivers will be trying to think of is they want to keep refueling down to a minimum, but they also want to keep their car as light as they possibly can. So that's the compromise they've got to find out here. We're going to be heading into qualifying, so this is when we'll see the stickiest tyres possible with the lightest cars possible, as well as our 15-minute qualifying session is well underway. There is Jan-Niklas Erbrich in the 299 DJ Racing BMW. As it's more often than not now, we are supposed to see him in a Lexus, but of course it's a BMW only event, so there he is in the DJ Racing BMW. That's a bit of black and green and purple on the car there, although I'm not one to get my colours right half the time, so that could be entirely different. It's up to Jan-Niklas to tell me what the colours are on that car, because they'll be the correct colours as he now makes his way through in towards the Michael Schumacher S. Up the hill he goes then. So he is the first driver out on track for this qualifying session, so it stands to reason he should be the first lap time we expect on the board, but of course this is just his out lap at the moment as he makes his way down through Vorsteiner. We've got 18 drivers in this race so far, as we see Jan-Niklas Erbrich then making his way through this long right-hander, flat out through there as we make our way up the hill and towards the final chicane. As we see now making his way through into the final corner, slows the car down a little bit, just try and make sure he finds that apex there. You see he gets as close to that wall as he possibly can. He'll have been practicing that. See how close he can get as he crosses the line then to start his flying lap here in qualifying. Making our way now down towards the very first turn then, braking hard into turn one then. Downhill all the way in towards the apex there, even beyond the apex as well. Twitchy on the exit there, but gathered it up nicely as he makes his way through turn two, in through the Mercedes arena. Downhill on entry into turn three, using that curb on the right hand side to open up this corner a little bit, and again sacrifice the exit for turn three to make sure you pick up the apex for turn four, as you now put on the power then and make your way now down towards Valvoline. Picking out your braking spot on the right hand side then, you can see the car. He's confident in the car is Jan-Niklas as he makes his way now in towards Ford Curve. On the power up through the gears once again as we head our way down towards Dunlop Curve, the 7th turn on this track. And we'll see what sort of line Erbrick takes then. And again, straight on the brakes and tries to keep the steering wheel as straight as he possibly can. Really aim for the apex with the brakes there. Up through the gears as we make our way up the hill and through the Michael Schumacher S, through turns 8 and then through turn 9. Little lift through turn 8 then. Bit of a ride on the curbs there. Upsets the car, but he gathers it nicely. Up towards the Michelin curve then. Braking about 100 metres before the corner. And then in towards Vorsteiner again. Downhill on entry, but he clips the curb on the left-hand side. Clips the grass as well. And he did very well to keep that car in check. But this will be a qualifying lap that'll probably be abandoned, or at least it'll become a banker lap now, as he makes his way up the hill then towards the NGK chicane. Braking hard then, about 70 metres before the corner. As you see there, you can see how bumpy it is on entry, just riding on board with Jan-Nicolas Erbrick. Making his way now through turn 15. He's going wide at the final corner here. He wants to go for another lap, but that's someone right behind him on a flying lap as we make our way towards the start-finish line. Interesting to see who that will be. Jan-Nicolas Erbrick, of course, sets the fastest lap time of the session. Tom McEwing, I think that is behind him in the number 89. It went fastest. Now David Ohak takes control at the top of the leaderboard. Perez Sada puts onto the front row of the grid, but of course that's going to change ever so quickly as Florent Lecour, 54.4, sets the fastest lap time of this session so far. There's Justin Mifsud then, going down then in the number 42 car, down in towards the Dunlop curve, through the hairpin. Just trying to be patient. Make sure you don't overdo it on the throttle there. Very easy to spin up the rear tyres if you apply the power too early. Going through the hairpin, through the Michael Schumacher rests. Taking liberties with the curb there. Full reliance on the suspension to absorb the impact the curbs have on these cars. Down in towards Michelin. Then towards Vorsteiner. This long right-hander. An age to put the throttle on, but when you do, you can't afford to miss it. Through Advan we will go. And then on towards NGK. Let's see what sort of lap time Mifsud can put on the board here as he makes his way up the hill then through the final chicane. Over-committed on the entry there, but got away with it at the very least as he makes his way through turn 15. Onwards he will go then towards the start-finish line. Now, will this be a valid lap that'll be set on the board by Justin Mifsud? He crosses the line. It is a valid lap, and it's a 57.9. It's good enough for 11th place. I have a feeling, though, he will not be happy about how he took at turn 13 there. Agreston making his way through. Hits a cone on the way through. Why not? Through turn 15 we go in the number 46 car. Onwards towards the start-finish line. Now, he didn't set a lap time in practice. So what does he do in qualifying? He goes 14th fastest at the moment with a 59.4 on the board. And he'll be hoping that he can just get quicker and quicker throughout the session. Just set some consistent lap times. Just get quicker and quicker throughout the session. Florent Lecour then crosses the line, and I believe he's gone even quicker. 54.342 now puts him even further ahead at the top of the table. Jan-Nicolas Erbrick is in second place then, 0.870 seconds off the lead pace right now. It's Chris Bourne in third place, David Ohak in fourth. Michael Perez-Sada there, you can see, is in fifth place, the number 43 car, making his way through in towards turn 2. Down the hill we go through turn 3. Jan Ryler is in 6th place. Tom McEwing is in 7th. René Rassar is in 8th place with Sandro Zara in 9th. And Kirsten Abaya rounding off the top 10. That is Dima Spellman in 11th place. Justin Mifsud in 12th. Conchabo in 13th place. Gooch in 14th. With Legreston 15th. Nomella 16th. Caruana in 17th. And Piermit hasn't set a valid lap time yet. Still in the pits as we speak. Caruana as well hasn't set a lap time on the board. He's on track right now. As I say that, Silver Piermits also joins us on the track then, as he wants to put in a lap time. Gurley, Kunshabo then, and he says his team name, if I win, Justin shaves. It's a glorious beard that we're going to lose if that's the case. So Kunshabo then making his way towards the line. And does he go quicker? He does, but it was not a valid lap time, so we'll have to go again. A 57.4 probably would have been good enough for top 10 at that moment in time, but it wasn't a valid lap, and he'll have to go again to set a quicker lap time through in towards turn 2. Down the hill we will go then through turn 3 in that number 11 car. 13th fastest in this qualifying session right about now, with just over 7 minutes of the session to go. You can see the track temperature 36 degrees, so it's nice and toasty for those tyres there. You've got to be careful not to overwork them though. In a track that's got a lot of high-speed corners here, got to be careful to keep your tyres in check, especially over a qualifying lap. As we now see Chris Bourne make his way in the Exard Virtual Motorsport car through in towards Michelin, now in towards Versteiner, currently 4th fastest in this qualifying session, and the 118 car. Onwards he will go through Advan, flat out through here. He'll then make his way up towards the, I will say, the final chicane. In towards NGK. Again, bumpy on the entry there, but riding those bumps really well there. A lot of confidence in his setup. Through towards turn 15. And onwards there, building up the power, building up the speed, maybe grabbing a little bit of toe from the car ahead as well as he crosses the line. Can he go quicker? Yes, he can. 55.5 from the Brit puts him now 3rd fastest in this qualifying session. Maybe he's got enough fuel in the tank for one more lap. I think that's Tom McEwing right ahead of them. I could be mistaken on that one. But this is the issue now. He's got 3 cars ahead of him. We've got the number 10 car. That's, I think that's Dimo Spellman, who's had a moment at the final chicane. Oh, Chris Bourne decides he's backing out of that one. I thought originally he'd lost the back end there, but he hadn't. He'd decided he wants out of that lap because he realised he had traffic ahead of him. Both of them were on a flying lap. He just thought it's not worth it. Might as well come back to the pits, hit the reset button and go for another lap once again. That's put him 3rd fastest at the moment. David O'Hack makes his way around the final corner, onwards towards the start-finish line. And can he go quicker? He cannot right now. He's only 2/10 off his best, but he'll be looking for even more time because he was up the order then in the practice session. So maybe that's a look into the future then for David O'Hack. Maybe he's got the race set up down to a T. Jan-Nicolas Erbrich then, 2nd fastest in this qualifying session, but Florent Lecour 1.1 seconds clear of anybody else. 54.1 from the Frenchman right now. He's getting ever closer to those 53s. I did say I'm expecting a high 53 from Florent Lecour, if not a low 54, and so far that's coming true. We'll have to wait and see. We've still got 4 minutes 40 seconds in this session. There's Jan-Nicolas Erbrich making his way through Vorsteiner. Using that curb on the exit as well. Building up the speed through Advan. Got to make sure you keep a smooth line through there. You don't want to scrub off any unnecessary speed. Now in towards NGK, and he's back right off of this one. Probably seen there's a little bit of traffic up ahead of him, but there's a little bit of traffic behind him as well. I think you can see one of the cars right behind as he makes his way now through in towards the final corner. Got to be careful on a qualifying lap because, of course, you want to set yourself up for a lap. You don't want to compromise another driver on a flying lap as Nicolas Erbrich in 2nd place. I think Perez Sada's just gone up the order to 4th place in the number 43 car and comes back to the pits shortly after that. The number 9 car of Jan Ryler does the same, stops on the start-finish straight, comes back to the pit lane straight away. Jan-Nicolas Erbrich then riding aboard with him as he's looking to just put some lap times in, see what he can do through turn 3. Through turn 4 we go then. Little bit of a scream on the exit there, gathered it up. In towards Valvoline, in through turn 5. Tricky set of corners this one because you go over a crest and then you're downhill in through turn 6. Move forward, building up the speed then. Again, just making sure you don't scrub off any speed. Going down in towards Dunlop then, and taking a straight line. Arrow straight towards the apex while the brakes are fully on. Slow that car down. Climbing up the hill now through the Michael Schumacher rest. This is what the part of the track where the engine has to work really hard. Provide that torque going up the hill. Provide a similar amount of power as to the rest of the track. Making our way now in towards Michelin. Over a crest and then we go downhill on entry in towards Vorsteiner. Grab the apex there. Be patient on the throttle. Building up the speed then might be a little bit of a tow. I think that might be Jan Ryler right ahead. If it's not, it is going to be the number 385. Oh, sorry, 315. That's Nermella right ahead of him. But he backs out of it, does Erbrich. So, obviously not happy with his lap then, as he looks to go again. But he's got, I think that is Perez Sada right behind him. So Erbrich once again has to abandon his lap, decides to abandon his lap, and he's got Peresada right on the back of him. Making our way down the start-finish straight then as David Ohak now goes third fastest. Chris Board is in fourth place. Tom McEwing up the order. He goes into ninth place. With Justin Mifsud goes into 10th fastest now with that latest lap time. 56.619. Puts him into 10th place. As he now makes his way once again. He might be, well, he's going for another lap. Otherwise he would have pulled to the side right about now. Down in towards turn 3. And this is a common theme for the drivers with just around about 90 seconds to go in this session. They'll put some fuel on board, go for, 2-3 laps just in case. As we now make our way following Justin Mifsud, going down towards Valvoline. Anchors are on then. As we head now in towards Ford Curve through the right-hander of turn 6. And of course downhill on entry, because if you apply the power too early, you can promote a little bit of understeer on the exit of that corner. Now heading down in towards the hairpin at Dunlop Curve. Through turn 7. Back on the power. Going up through the gears with less than a minute on the clock. No one expecting to cross the start-finish line anytime soon. So it looks like potentially the number 44 car out there could be the one to see the checkered flag first. It's going to be tight though. So this is where I discovered there is no 44 car out there at all. There is no, it's Caruana, Luke Caruana, making his way now up towards the final chicane. He might just make it for another lap, as the number 10 car pulls off to the side of Valvoline, or sorry, at Michelin, and decides to call it a day. That was Dima Spellman, so he'll go no higher than 12th place. Here's Justin Mifsud then attacking that final chicane. And there you can see a car coming back into the pit lane then. That's probably Jan-Nicolas Erbrich. Here comes Justin Mifsud then. Now, will he be able to take the checkered flag? It's going to be tight. No, I don't think he did, No, I think he's going to go for another lap. So he's just about made the cut then. He has got the checkered flag displaying on his dash. So that could be, well, it's a bit nip and tuck there. We'll have to wait and see whether Justin completes his lap or not. But other than that, we've got Florent Lecour then on pole position at this moment in time. Well, from what I'm seeing then, I think Mifsud is on a flying lap then. It's, the number 23 car gets all up in the windshield there. It's Justin Mifsud trying to keep the car together then through turn 4. Tom McEwen takes the checkered flag. He's now gone 8th fastest, 1.7 seconds off the leader, but it puts him now onto the 4th row of the grid. He was on the 5th before. Mifsud getting a little bit of understeer then through Valvoline. Then we go through Ford Curve. And onwards then towards that hairpin we go. We've got a car right ahead of Mifsud here. As we now head our way down, and Mifsud backs out of his lap time then. He realises he's probably not going to improve on that lap time. Decides to call that one a day. Silver Pyramids as well, 7th fastest, has backed out of his lap time. We've still got 2 cars out there trying to complete their lap times, and we'll see them on the grid very, very shortly. But Florent Lecour, I mean, more than a second clear of anybody else. Jan-Nicolas Erbrich, well, competition's only hope of a challenge for the lead, but it just shows you how Florent Lecour is absolutely on the money today, and he's coming here, German Fest, as a Frenchman, showing everybody how it's done in the BMW. So we'll see how that comes together. We've got 18 cars that will of course start this race. We've got an hour of racing coming your way very, very shortly, which will of course include a mandatory pit stop where the drivers have to make a tyre change. That is a mandatory requirement. They do not have to fuel. So this is where strategy could come into play. How much fuel do you take on the car at the very start? Do you take refueling on at your stop? Do you try and make the car as light as possible and pay the penalty in the pits, or do you just carry that fuel on and make the pit stops as short as possible? Well, we're going to find out very, very soon, as we'll shortly take you to German Fest. We'll have a bit of a warm-up for all these drivers, make sure everybody's okay, make sure we've seen before, there's been a couple of hardware failures right before a race. I've been there before, so we'll have to wait and see who makes it to that start. But at the moment, Florent Lecour, I hate to say he looks comfortable, but he looks pretty comfortable up at the top there with a very healthy buffer to everybody else. In terms of everybody else, though, it looks pretty comfortably tight. in that top 5, top 6 area of the field. Very healthy competition going in towards there. Tom McEwing as well. I've seen him in a couple of World Pro Racing events at the moment. He's been steadily improving his pace and steadily improving his confidence as well. He'll be really up for a challenge and really up for a fight if he can keep that car on the road. He's shown good pace at times, but the consistency just needs to be worked on that little bit. To be expected from someone new to the series, but all signs are pointing in the right direction for Tom McEwing. And of course, Justin Mifsud then qualifying in 10th place, World Pro Racing Broadcasting Director. Not bad, considering he hasn't been really in a sim racing rig competitively for at least a year. So it's great to see him back out there. Hopefully we get to see more of him very, very soon. And what about Kun Shabo? Well, his forfeit, I say forfeit if he wins this race, is for Justin to shave his beard. Now, I don't know if Justin's agreed to that, and I don't know if he's known he's agreed to that. Well, we'll have to find out. That's, of course, if the Hungarian wins this race, but in a race where Florent Lecour looks like he's got a steady hold on things, could be a while yet. Well, of course, it's a rolling start, as it always is here in these GT3 cars as we make our way around the final corner. Start-finish line is pretty close to the final corner, so we'll see the green flag very, very shortly. It's Lecour on the left of your screen. It's Jan-Niklas Erbeck on the right with David Ohak right behind our race leader as they now make their way towards the line in formation. We're about to get this race underway. The green flag is out and we are racing. Florent Lecour gets a great start off the line as he makes his way now down towards the first corner. You can see Jan-Niklas Erbeck on the left-hand side of your screen. You can see David Ohak in middle there, as I think that was Chris Bourne trying to make her way through in towards turn 1 there, as there's a little bit of contact on the entrance in towards the first corner. Everyone looks like they've made it through so far, as Perez Sada looks to try and take advantage of a good start, but he's slightly onto the AstroTurf then, going in towards turn 3 with a car going right up the inside there, going in towards turn 3. He'll be right on the outside going through turn 4. You can see they're trying to grab as much of that track as he possibly can, but a good start from Florent Lecour makes sure that he is holding on to the lead of this race. Rainer Rissar, meanwhile, is going to be on the inside going in towards Valvoline. He might be on the outside of Ford Curve going through. He has to leave the door open. I think that's the number 43 car, and it is of Perez Sada, who's fallen slightly down the order there as they now go side by side going in towards Dunlop then. Making our way through. Perez Sada trying to hold the inside line. Rainer Rissar going round the outside for 7th place. Can he try and get the power down? In theory, going around the outside there, you can build the power early, and he has done. Rainer Rissar then up into 7th place as Perez Sada looking to try and go up the inside on the second part of the Michael Schumacher S, but we've got a car around right in the middle of the track. It's the number 42 car of Justin Mifsud, who finds himself around right in the middle of the chicane, and he can count himself very, very lucky that he was not collected at the middle part there. Everyone's doing a fine job of avoiding that wayward BMW. Michael Perez Sada, though, has managed to find himself in a bit of a tussle here with the car behind for 8th place. This will be as we don't make our way up towards the final chicane then. Through we go, and then you can see Mr. just falling down the order, of course, after that spin at the Michael Schumacher S, going through the final corner then. At the moment then, it is Jan-Niklas Erbeck is showing on our screen as leading. Yes, so what's happened to Florent Lecour? Because he's fallen right down the order, showing on our screens as 6th place. So Jan-Niklas Erbeck leading the way then. It's Chris Bourne in 2nd place. David Ohak is in 3rd. Silver Pyramid's in 4th. Jan Reiler in 5th, as he's got the inside line going through. And the number 45 car, that is Florent Lecour. So he's fallen all the way down the order to 6th place. But he's looking to try and make amends very early on in this stint. He's got the inside of turn 3, and he comfortably has the line for turn 4. That's back up to 5th place then as he makes his way through. Interesting to see, interesting to try and figure out what happened to Lecour. But if his qualifying pace is anything to go by, he might be able to scythe his way through the field, as that's Legreston under pressure then from Dimmer Spellman as we make our way now onwards towards Valvoline. Making our way through now in towards Ford Curve. As you can see that the car behind him had to, trying to find a way past, but couldn't quite. I think he just about kept onto the track, in all honesty. He looked like he ran wide at Ford Curve. There's Luke Caruana making his way through Dunlop. And then back on the power, then up the gears. Numella has found trouble as well. He's all the way down the order now into 18th place behind Justin Mifsud. So he's found trouble out there as well. So relatively clean start from all involved. Oh, we got a spinner in the background. The number 10 car goes round. And that's Demis Spellman. He's managed to hold on to that. He's locked up all the brakes there. And it's kept it out of the wall. That's the most important thing. Who cares if he's lost all of those positions? The fact that he's still in this race is a bonus there. He goes down to 18th place, last of the runners right now. But he's a very, very lucky boy. Oh, there's Reina Rosaru's off onto the grass at the final chicane. And was that the bumps has caught out the Estonian there in the EuroRC.com car. Going now in towards turn 15. He's got to be careful. He's rejoining right onto the racing line. He thinks better of it, though, as I think that's Abaya who's got ahead. Meanwhile, Tom McEwing looking for an inside move on the inside of Michael Beresada, but no way through right now. Going in towards turn 1. The number 43 car holds firm. But in the McEwing Motorsport car, Tom McEwing is looking for a way past. That's a battle for 7th place. Florent Lecour, meanwhile, battling away with Silver Pyramid. He'll be on the outside going through turn number 4, but he's got to be careful about Jan Ryler looking to sneak a move up the inside. Who gets the better exit? Out of turn 4. And you can see there, it looked like Lecour got a better exit, but how narrow the track is going down towards the Michelin curve and then in towards Vorsteiner. Sorry, Valvoline into Ford. It's really difficult to make an overtake stick if you're going through there. Going now down in towards Dunlop, you can see right in that rear view mirror, riding on board with Florent Lecour. He is really under pressure from Jan Ryler behind, but Lecour is trying to use his pace to his advantage at this moment. Up the hill we go then, through the Michael Schumacher S. Again, using a little bit of toe then. Oh, he gets a really good run now. Silver Pyramids might be on the defensive as we make our way now in towards Michelin curve. You can see Pyramids has got the inside line, then Lecour isn't left a lot of room, but he doesn't need a lot of room. He's now got the inside line of Vorsteiner. He's got his front wheels ahead, but you'll see there Silver Pyramids might get the momentum on the outside then as we head through Advan. Side by side the two cars will go. They come very, very close. As we now head in towards NGK and Lecour backs out of it. Silver Pyramids takes the racing line going through, but he gets a little bit too friendly with those curbs, runs wide. Lecour goes up the inside, says thank you very much, I'll take that away from you. Bit of racecraft action there from the Frenchman. Back down to that early chicane. Make sure he stopped the car in time. And now moves up into 4th place. His next target will be David Ohak. He's 4.1 seconds up the road as Justin Mifsud runs a little bit wide on the exit of the final chicane, recovering after an early spin at the Michael Schumacher S. As we now head our way down the start-finish straight following Mifsud in the number 42 car. There he goes then down towards turn 1. So Jan-Niklas Erbrich leads the way. Meanwhile then we've got Rissard and Legreston battling away. Legreston's got the outside line going through turn 1. You can get the better exit here and the inside line for turn 2, which is exactly what he's going to take away. Reina Rissard also recovering from an earlier spin at the final chicane. Looks for a move up the inside in towards turn 3. He'll be on the outside for turn 4 if he's not careful, but he is careful, gets the move done, and he now moves up into 14th place. So Rissard looking for a bit of a recovery drive. Legreston fully focused on his rear view mirror because he's got Justin Mifsud right behind him. As we now head our way now in towards Valvoline. All about getting your line right through there. Make sure you don't miss an apex. The driver behind will absolutely try and take advantage of that. Justin Mifsud riding on board then in the cockpit. As we make our way now down towards the Dunlop curve. Getting our way through then. We've got 4 cars battling away for position. As you can see, Legreston takes a wider line. He'll be hoping for a better exit, but we've got Rissard and Caruana battling away for position. They're going side by side, going through the Schumacher S then. Rissard had the outside line. Caruana said, no way. Backed out of that move. And Rissard now moves up into 13th place. Mifsud we're riding on board with, trying to find a way past Legreston. Late braking. Bit of a tap to the car in front then. As we make our way through, and Legreston has to take to the outside there with that little bit of extra momentum that he wasn't expecting, and manages to keep a hold and control of the car as we make our way now in towards Advan through that long, fast right-hander. So Jan-Niklas Erbrich still leads the way. It's Chris Bourne in 2nd place, David Ohak in 3rd. Speaking of David Ohak, he's going for a move up the inside of Chris Bourne then. Down in towards turn 1. He'll be on the outside for turn 2 if he can try and make this stick, which he does. David Ohak now up into 2nd place, and we saw he had good pace in practice. That alluded to some good race pace, and he's showing it here. Now moving up into 2nd place. He's 2.3 seconds behind Jan-Niklas Erbrich now. Let's see what he can do when he turns up the wick. And Justin Mifsud rejoining this battle then for 15th place between himself and Christopher Legreston. Making sure that you keep that back end in check then, going through the left-hander at turn 2. Downwards we go then towards turn 3 again. Maybe tempted to stick a nose up the inside, but not quite good enough there. But now around the outside of turn 4, you got a really good exit out of the 3 there. And now we're going to be running side by side on the run down towards turn 5, are we? Who's going to blink through here as we head down towards Valvoline? Mifsud's got the inside line, but he catches a little bit of grass as well as Legreston goes onto the grass. Mifsud has a moment heading in towards Ford Curve, but manages to hold on and now moves up into 15th place. Now, I don't think Legreston will be too happy about that one, but Mifsud has got the move done. And Ryler, meanwhile, might be under pressure soon from Michael Peresada right behind him as we now make our way through. In fact, Jan Ryler's actually fallen down to 9th place, so he's had a moment because he was 6th place earlier on in this race. So that means that's Kunshaba, I think, that's behind him. And I think it is because he's got Abaya right ahead of him, so that is Kunshaba behind him. So Jan Ryler finding a moment out there, falling now down to 9th place as we now make our way up towards the final chicane then. So all that work to do again. All this action, all this drama. We still have 50 minutes of the race to go. Jan-Niklas Erbrich is the race leader right now. A German leading in a German car at a German track. At this moment in time, it really is well and truly German fest. As Jan-Niklas Erbrich makes his way now towards turn 3. David Ohak in 2nd place. We saw that move on Chris Bourne going in towards turn 1 a lap ago. That got him 2nd place. There is David Ohak then in a DJ Racing number 13 car. Did allude to that number 13. It's unlucky for some, but for David Ohak right now, it's working wonders for him. Going now down in towards Valvoline. Chris Bourne in 3rd place then, with Florent Lecour in 4th, Silver Pyramids in 5th, Michael Peresada is in 6th place, Tom McEwing in 7th, Kirsten Abaya in 8th, Jan Ryler in 9th, and Gerlie Kunshabo is in 10th place. There's Jan Ryler, right at the back of Kirsten Abaya, as we make our way now through Valvoline down in towards Ford Curve. You can see then Jan Ryler a lot more confident going through Valvoline there. You can see now on the exit of Ford Curve, he's right on the back of the car ahead. Going now in towards the Dunlop Curve, no way through, and Bayer defending 8th place quite hard early on as we now make our way, ascend up towards the Michelin Curve through this long left-hander, then the following right through the Michael Schumacher S. Really tests the way the car reacts to how agile you want it to be. It's got to flick one way and then another as Jan Ryler sees that Abaya runs a little bit wide on the exit of Michelin, now in towards Vorsteiner. Possible way to take advantage. There's Tom McEwing currently in 7th place as he's now trying to chase down Silver Pyramids in the number 89 BMW, making his way through. There is Silver Pyramids in the Ninko Racing number 23. And the Estonian is trying to chase down Michael Peresada right ahead of him. And that's a battle for 5th place. There's Tom McEwing. You can just see in the background there, just looming, lurking, seeing if he can take advantage of any future battle. Plenty of the way to go then. The Silver Pyramids goes down towards turn 1. There's Kunshabo then into the slipstream of Jan Ryler, looking maybe possibly for a move past in towards turn 1, but thinks better of it this time around. Heading into turn 1 then. Currently 10th place at the moment. Of course, he's got that forfeit looming, and I say it's a forfeit. It's more of a forfeit for Justin if he wins the Hungarian. But you can see how close it is. Oh, there's a little bit of contact up ahead between Abaya and Ryler, and Kunshabo really has to slam on the brakes there to avoid any contact. So fair play to Gerlie Kunshabo then. Could have ended in a not so nice way if he hadn't have reacted that quickly. Demella, I just saw there have a little bit of a moment, I think, at the final chicane. He's rejoined, but he's way back at the moment then. But you never know what can happen up ahead. We've seen it before, we've seen it at Bathurst, how demanding these long endurance races can be just on your own. I mean, you've got yourself there, possibly a couple of team members around you helping you out, keeping you focused. But for most of these drivers, they will be absolutely on their own out there for this hour. So concentration is key here. There's Silver Pyramids then, making his way through Vorsteiner. And onwards he will go then through Advan. And I've just seen Florent Lecour, the gap between himself and Chris Bourne has come down now to 2 seconds. So Florent Lecour really is trying to close in as much as he can. Obviously qualified on pole position by more than a second. He finds himself down in 4th place right now. Jan Ryler then, 9th place. Challenging Kirsten Abea going in towards that final chicane. And you can see there just how bumpy it is going through there. You've really got to tune your suspension to really take the impact off those curbs there. As we head down the start-finish straight, down towards the first corner, as Jan Ryler here gets a little bit of tow from Kirsten Abea ahead. Down in towards turn 1, there's Rainer Rissart. Is he going side by side with Zara? Down in towards turn 1. And Sandro Zara here's got the outside line going in towards turn 1 then. Rainer Rissart's got the line through here. As Zara then has to concede defeat on that one. Rainer Rissart up into 12th place. And Sandro Zara down to 13th. So Rainer Rissart, who was running as high as, I think, 8th and 9th in this race, had that spin, fallen down the order, but now is on a true recovery drive. Up to 12th place now in that EuroRC.com BMW. And again, one of Rainer Rissart's livery designs. You are never going to miss that shade of colour, really, are you? We've got a bit of grass, a bit of dirt thrown up from a car ahead. That could have been Alan Gooch there. It was either Alan Gooch or a car further ahead of them. There's Kirsten Abea and Jan Ryler still going at it for 8th place then, as they make their way up the hill then, going in towards the Schumacher S. And then making our way towards Michelin. And Abea right now is just about holding on. He's got constant pressure from Jan Ryler behind for 8th place. You can see there Kirsten Abea seems to like that line. He likes to run wide going through Valvoline and try and carry a little bit more speed going in towards Ford Curve. Leaves him a little bit vulnerable going up towards the NGK chicane though, but when we get there you can see Jan Ryler just can't seem to quite find an inside line. As we make our way through. About a quarter of the way through this race then, Jan-Nicolas Urbrecht still leads the way. He's 4 seconds clear at the moment of David Ohat. Chris Bourne is in 3rd place. Our pole sitter Florent Lecour is in 4th place. Silver Pirmits in 5th. Michael Peresada in 6th with Tom McEwing in 7th. You're watching Kirsten Abea defend 8th place from Jan Ryler, who's currently in 9th. And it's Gerli Kunchabo rounding off our top 10 here so far in this race. And wherever you're watching, whether it be on ESTV, Motorsport TV or TVM Sport. Maybe you're watching us on Facebook, on YouTube, maybe even on Twitch. Let us know who you're supporting here tonight. As we see Michael Peresada make his way now down in towards Valvoline, then towards Ford Curve. He's got Silver Pirmits right ahead of him, but battle for 5th place as he's looking for an inside move, just trying to fill those mirrors of Silver Pirmits. The only problem is he might have compromised his own exit going out of Ford Curve, which he has done. You see that gap building up again as we now make our way in towards the Dunlop curve. Keep that car nice and steady through there. As you see, Silver Pirmits has fallen nearly 10 seconds behind Florent Lecour, so that just shows you how quick our top 4 are tonight. As Michael Peresada tries to reel in Silver Pirmits, but you see there, Pirmits has got a good line. He's got a good setup on that car. He's very, very confident out there right now. There's Jan Ryler and Kirsten Abea in a battle that seems to have lasted race long so far, going in towards the penultimate chicane. And now making our way through in towards Vorsteiner. And it's a good run there through Vorsteiner from Jan Ryler. He's right in the toe of Kirsten Abea. Will he try and move up towards the NGK chicane? Yeah, it's not looking likely. He definitely had a look up the inside, but the nature of this chicane is so bumpy through here. We've just got to prioritise that final section of corners. Through turn 15 we go, and then onwards towards the start finish straight. Use all that momentum, use all that time you've been waiting in the toe, and try and see if you can get a move down the inside at turn 1. Jan Ryler right in the toe. He's got Kirsten Abea. Where will he go? Will he stay left? Jan Ryler looking to just try and fill those mirrors for now, but he's not quite close enough, and this will be a little bit frustrating for Jan Ryler at the moment. He's been behind Kirsten Abea for quite some time. He's taken some different lines. That might work though. Through turn 2 we go, up the inside. He will go through turn 3. Jan Ryler, has he finally got this move done? Well, he's going to have to try and keep it nice and tidy through and towards turn 4, and he has done. Jan Ryler then moves up into 8th place, and just as I was saying he might get frustrated, well, he kept his cool, took a different line, and has now got the position. Jan Ryler up into 8th place. He's now 7.5 seconds back from Tom McEwing for 7th place, but his first objective will be to build a gap to Kirsten Abaya right behind him. There is Michael Peresada then, as he's currently in 6th place. I believe that is Silver Pyramids right ahead of him as we make our way through the Michael Schumacher S. So a battle for 5th place on our hands now, as we now make our way onwards towards Michelin Curve, then towards Vorsteiner. And we'll see here 2 different lines maybe being taken. Yeah, 2 different lines being taken for sure. As Peresada wants an earlier apex, but you see there, Silver Pyramid so confident in his setup right about now that he's just enjoying it right now. He's enjoying this pressure that he seems to be under. Making our way now up towards the final chicane through NGK. Meanwhile, there's Rainer Rassar, and I believe that's Alan Gooch right ahead of him. That's a battle for 10th place as we make our way now through Advan up towards that final chicane. Rassar looks for an outside line then. As you see there, that's Gooch trying to take the racing line, and Rainer Rassar has to back out of that one. Always on the back foot was Rassar, had to back out of it. Gooch holds on to the position, and Rassar here going through the final corner on towards the start-finish straight. Oh, gets a little bit onto the curb there, lights up those rear tyres, does well to react and just maybe come off the power slightly, not entirely though, but he keeps that car in check. We're about 4 minutes away from the pit window opening. It'll open about 35 minutes to go. It will close with 25 minutes to go in this race. A mandatory tyre change is required in that pit stop. No mandatory fuel stop required though. As Alan Gooch there having a little bit of a moment coming down in towards turn 3. Either that or he's really defending the inside line, with Rassar wasn't quite close enough to take advantage of that one. You see there, that's Sandro Zara right behind in 12th place. Michael Peresada again putting the pressure on Silver Pyramid as we make our way up towards the Schumacher S. It seems like whenever we see Michael Peresada, it's almost like we put him off with the cameras that we put on him. He seems to get right up close to the back of Silver Pyramids, and then when he gets close, it's almost like he's not expecting Pyramids to take a certain line, or he's getting a little bit caught out with his setup. Either way, he's struggling out there. I've just been informed that Kunshaba has unfortunately disconnected from this race, so he will not be finishing it. So Justin's beard is safe. Whether he liked it or not, it is now safe, confirmed. Rainer Rassar then, 11th place, trying to chase down Alan Gooch then, in towards Vorsteiner Curve. And then on towards Advan once again in the slipstream. And Rassar here, he was patient with the move on Sandro Zara. Worked out where it wasn't quite working out for the driver ahead. We've got the number 10 car off at the Schumacher S. And that will be Dima Spellman. He's got the car going again, but he'll be running right down the order. Rainer Rassar taking the racing line, and he's got a much better exit than Alan Gooch then. And that looks like it's going to be 10th place taken off him, which it is. Rainer Rassar then moves up into 10th place, and Tom McEwing has had a moment at the first corner. Going down now in towards turn 1. We saw the white flags come out then. That indicates there's a slow car ahead. So Tom McEwing is now down the order. I think he's rejoined in 9th place then. We won't really know until the cars pass the first sector line. And there is Tom McEwing. He's down to 9th now. So he had a moment at turn 1 and has, you know, fallen down the order now to 9th place. And I said he has the pace. He just needs to work out on ironing out those mistakes, and he'll be well up the order. But at the moment, it's not the end of the world. It's still 9th place. And he's got plenty of time to make up that time. There's your race leader in Jan Nicholas Serbic, 5.7 clear of David Ohak, who's currently in 2nd place. Chris Bourne is in 3rd place. Florent Lecour, who was closing in bit by bit on Chris Bourne, right ahead of him. Now 3.6 seconds the gap. So Lecour is maybe settled down for this first stint. Maybe he'll be waiting for that pit window to open so he can get on some fresh tyres and see if an undercut can work. Now generally with tyres, you want an undercut. But with fuel, you kind of want the overcut. In theory, you'll have the lighter car. So because the mandatory tyre is in order, your mandatory tyre change, I should say, is in order, you would think that the drivers would try and pit as close to the pit window opening as possible. As you can see there, Peresada trying to find his way past. I think that's a lap car there, going on towards the start-finish straight. As we make our way through, and we'll be able to find out. I think that's Nurmela then. Yes, it is Nurmela. Putting a lap on the 17th place driver in this field. So Peresada moves now into 6th place, but he's now 2 seconds behind Silver Pyramids. So this is when you're tested at this moment in time. When do you pit in? What's your strategy from here on in? I'm seeing the Tom McEwing's had another moment at turn 1. Yellow flags are out to cover that one. And that's going to be another mistake. That's the number 690 gone through. That's Reina Rissar. So that was for position. Alan Gooch goes through as well. So another mistake from Tom McEwing. He falls right down the order. There he is, just recovering from that moment. He's down to 12th place. And I tell you what, that's the case of a commentator's curse right there. I do apologise, Tom. And hopefully we can get you back up the order. 12th place right now from the McEwen Motorsport number 89 car. And the pit window is seconds away from opening up here at the Nürburgring. It's Jan-Niklas Erbrich who leads from David Ohak in 2nd place, Chris Bourne in 3rd. There is Florent Lecour, our pole sitter for this race. And 3.3 seconds behind Chris Bourne, and he's weaving left and right at the moment there. I think he knows the camera's on us. Pit window is now open. So Jan-Niklas Erbrich will have to go out for another lap. He's missed the pit lane. Does anybody decide to pit in? Yes, Florent Lecour decides to pit in. I think he will be the first into the pit. Yes, he will. So he's taking advantage here of a possible undercut. Legreston's also into the pits from 16th place. Now, did he pit in when that pit window opened? I think he did. Silver Pyramids also into the pits then from 5th place. Michael Peresada stays out. So he's looking to run a little bit longer. Jan Ryler also staying out there. Kirsten Abaya, I think, has stayed out as well in the number 92 car. There's Reina Rissar, who is staying out for sure, going through the final corner. And accelerating away onto the start-finish straight. So we'll have to see how that plays into Lecour's hands then. Obviously, fresh tyres will go onto the Frenchman's car. And then he'll be away once again on fresh tyres. What are we hoping now is to make sure that he rejoins with a relatively clear space out on track so that he can make the most of those tyres. There's Legreston, who has now rejoined. But that's interesting because he pitted, but he's pitted outside of the pit window because you see there that orange number 1 means that they've still got one more mandatory stop. There you can see with Lecour, he's got a green bar next to his name, which means he has now taken his mandatory stop. So Legreston came into the pits outside of the pit window, so he'll have to come back for another pit stop and for a mandatory tyre change. So not great then from Legreston. Unless I've got that horrendously wrong. There's Caruana into the pits as well as Justin Mifsud, who's all the way down the end of the pit lane. So both cars now in for their mandatory stop. Jan-Niklas Erbrich then, I think he's out there. Where is he? He's now coming into the pit lane then. So race leader into the pits then for a mandatory stop. David Ohak is not far behind either. And there is Chris Bourne all into the pits then. So there's your top 3 right there, all into the pits. All eyes now will be on where our pole sitter for this race was, the number 45 car in Florent Lecour. So he's making his way now down towards the Dunlop curve, the hairpin here. So you can easily say that it's going to be at least a minute lost in the pit lane. So can Lecour make these tyres work? These fresh tyres. Going now through the Michael Schumacher S. Of course, as we head through the in-game time at about 5:30, the track starts to cool down. It's now at 29 degrees centigrade. It was around about 34, 35 when we started this race, so the track has started to cool. And one thing the drivers will have to note is the wind is picking up. It was around 3 kilometres an hour at the start of this race. It's now picked up to 7 kilometres an hour. Changing between northwest and northeast at the moment, that wind direction. So the drivers have to be careful because they might have a little bit of a headwind going down towards turn 1. They might catch them out if they're not careful. Jan-Nicolas Urbach then, race leader, rejoins then. Well in the lead. Look at that. 45 car is still down the order then. He's just pole sitter, only just coming onto the start-finish straight now. So Chris Bourne rejoins then. There's Florent Lecour, who makes his way now down the start-finish straight. So it's Michael Peresada now takes the lead, but he's still got to make a mandatory stop. Jan-Nicolas Urbach in second place, David Ohak in third, Chris Bourne in fourth. Jan Ryler showing us as fifth place right now. I'll have to check if that's the case as we make our way through. I don't think it is. No, there is Jan Ryler, so he's still in the pit lane. And then limiter off, and away he will go. And rejoining then in 11th place. So there's Rainer Rosal then, still also yet to pit into this race. Alan Gooch, as well as Sandro Zara, also yet to make a mandatory stop. Tom McEwing is into the pits then, currently 10th place in this race, or at least he was when he entered the pit lane. Tough race for Tom McEwing at the moment. However, the race is far from over. We've still got half an hour to go. Rainer Rosal then in second place, at least for now. There's Michael Peresada. He's enjoyed his lap in the lead, and now he'll come into the pit lane then for his mandatory stop as the pit limiter goes on. Rainer Rosal then making his way through that final chicane in the EuroRC.com BMW. The Estonian decides to pit in as well as he now makes his way through. Got to be careful then. That Armco is unforgiving as he's got a bit of traffic coming through. That's Legreston. Oh, he tries to squeeze through, but he's made contact with Legreston. What was he thinking? I know he wanted to try and get past in the pit lane then. He's racing him. He's trying to race him down the pit lane. Well, we've still got just under 5 minutes left of this pit window open. We're halfway through this race then, and Rainer Rosal, well, in his impatience, might feel the wrath of the stewards there. But in he comes then for his mandatory stop in the number 690 EuroRC.com BMW. So Alan Gooch now takes over the lead of this race, but he is yet to make a stop. That's going to put Sandro Zara in second place, again yet to make a stop in this race. So Jan-Nicolas Urbach then running in third place at the moment, but your net leader of this race. David Ohak then currently in fourth. And of course those standings will update once we get to a timing line, the first timing line after the pit lane, which is at sector 2. So it takes a while for the standings themselves to update. There's Dima Spellman, who comes into the pit lane. He's had an eventful race so far. Unfortunately for him, it's for the wrong reasons. He's had a couple of spins out there, but he'll be hoping that he can just fine-tune his driving for the last half hour, make it the last half hour a good one at the very least. So Michael Peresada rejoins in 9th place. He's got Alan Gooch and Sandro Zara yet to pit ahead of him. So there is Jan-Nicolas Urbach, third place out on track right now, but you would think our net leader of this race. Urbach then making his way onwards towards Michelin and then towards Vorsteiner. Making his way through then, of course, downhill as we make our way through the corner then. And then onwards towards Advan. So there is your net leader of this race. We'll have to wait and see who comes into the pits. The 223 car of Alan Gooch. It looks like he's come into the pit lane with 3 minutes to go of that pit window open. Has he come into the pit lane? Well, we'll have to see. I think he has come into the pits. We'll see that that's dot slow down at some point. Yep, there it is. I think Sandro Zara has stayed out. Yes, he has stayed out. So he's going long into this stint, is Sandro Zara. And really, he's got, one, maybe 2 laps at a push left out there. Otherwise, he'll be facing the wrath of the stewards. We have seen then, I think, I raised a concern about one of the drivers out there who had pitted underneath the, who pitted outside of the pit window. We're down to 16 runners, so I wonder if that's linked in some way. Sandro Zara leads the way, then Alan Gooch, of course, into the pit lane. That's going to promote everybody up a position from about 6th, 7th upwards. Interesting to see where Alan Gooch comes out, because he did have some good battles with Jan Ryler, Kirsten Abaya, Rainer Rosal. So let's see where he re-emerges out on track in a short moment or two. There is Alan Gooch then, the Team Valkyrie BMW. Limiter comes off and he rejoins then in 10th place. Now I don't know what was in the driver's briefing there, but I'm pretty sure that pit lane exit line is there for a reason. But Alan Gooch is making his way back out onto track. He's 10th place right now. And looking to try and chase down, that's the number 92 car. So that's Kirsten Abeya for 9th place. At the moment, the gap looks like it's coming down. Meanwhile then, Jan-Niklas Erbrich is right behind Sandro Zara. Now that is technically for position, but Sandro Zara here has still yet to make a mandatory stop as Erbrich tries to go the inside. He's lost it. He's lost it. Onto the grass he goes. David Ohak will go straight through. And has Jan-Niklas Erbrich thrown this race away? We've still got half the race to go. But did he really have to go for a move up the inside there, considering Zara still had to make a mandatory stop? I'm not so sure. But David Ohak will not think twice about taking the lead of this race. And Zara into the pits then. With just a minute left on the clock, that means all remaining drivers in this race have now made their mandatory stop within the pit window. So no penalties coming there anyone's way for a pit stop penalty. In addition, I talk about penalties. There is a 5-second penalty being awarded to Rainer Rassar for avoidable contact on pit lane entry. So that would have been with the number 40, I think it was the number 44 car, was it? Going through. In any case, he is going to be penalised for that one, for avoidable contact on that pit lane entry. Kind of a slap on the wrist there. I think we all saw that one coming. But David Ohak now into the lead of this race then. Rainer Rassar, there he is then. So 5 seconds will be added on what will now be to the end of his race time. So he's picked up that penalty. He's just got to focus now on the end of the race. Keep going. At this moment in time, though, Tom McEwing will see that penalty emerge on Rainer Rassar. And that might encourage him slightly to just stay within that 5 seconds. So there's Sandro Zara, our last to take the pit stop then, the mandatory pit stop. As long as you pit and make the pit entrance within the pit window, it counts as your mandatory stop, and it counts as it being inside the window. So he makes his exit now. He's completed his mandatory stop. He rejoins then in 12th place. He's on fresher tyres. He's on the freshest tyres out of the entire field. So let's see what he can do with them as we head towards the last 25 minutes of this race then. There is Luke Caruana then, currently in 13th place, the number 44 car, as he's trying to keep himself busy out there. And we've got the 315 car, so that's Nurmela making his way down in towards turn 1. And Luke Caruana then goes up the inside. I think Nurmela was just diving straight out of the way there, as he's just looking to get to the checkered flag at this moment in time. And it was the number 46 car. It is confirmed then in the pit lane. So that's a car that has since retired from this race. There's Justin Mifsud then in the number 42 car, currently in 15th place as he's trying to chase down one of the cars up ahead. It looks like it's Dima Spellman right ahead of him. And the number 223, so that's Alan Gooch, will get a 5-second penalty for pit exit line infringement, and we saw that happen right in front of us. So he is going to be penalised for that one, and again 5 seconds will be added to the end of his race time. We've got a car off onto the side there. Now is that going to be for position then for Justin Mifsud? He'll certainly hope so. Down in towards, now we go, Valvoline curve. I think that is, it is the number 10 car then of Dima Spellman, as we now ride aboard with Justin Mifsud then trying to find a way past. Couldn't quite take advantage of there. It's quite a narrow part of the circuit, as we now make our way down towards the Dunlop curve once again. And Mifsud here wanting to try and find a way past Spellman. We'll have to find it later on the circuit if there's a chance for him, that's for sure. So David Ohak leads the way then from Jan-Niklas Erbrich in 2nd place. Chris Bourne is in 3rd. Florent Lacour in 4th place, Silver Piermitz in 5th, Jan Reiler in 6th, Michael Peresada in 7th, Kirsten Abeya in 8th, Alan Gooch in 9th, Rainer Rassar rounding off the top 10. But Gooch and Rassar both have a 5-second penalty. Speaking of which, here they are right now battling for 9th place. Now if they battle too much, it's going to allow Tom McEwing to close the gap on these two, and they'll both suffer for that. So Rassar knows he has to get this move done. He's looking for a move down the inside at the Dunlop curve. He's going to launch a move up the inside at the Dunlop curve. Try and use the banking to slow him down. And that's exactly what he's done there. Rainer Rassar knew he had to get that move done quickly. And did he get it done quickly? He moves now up into 9th place. Michael Peresada then trying to find his way out on track. 7th place so far. A little bit of a lonely race for him at the moment. He had a bit of a hectic start, that's for sure. But he's just going to keep himself to himself at the moment. Jan Ryler and Silver Pyramids battling away for 5th place. And welcome along if you are watching along on the YouTube chat. Of course, we've got Darren in the chat there. Welcome along. And of course, Gridfinder down there. So welcome along. Hope you're having a great Friday evening wherever you are. And you're just in time to see the closing stages of Germanfest here on World Pro Racing. Don't forget as well, if you fancy your chances behind the wheel of one of these cars or many other cars, make sure you check out worldproracing.com. You'll find multiple events maybe tailored for you. When I say there's a lot of races going on, I really do mean it. We've got a packed schedule at the moment. Tomorrow we're coming back to the Nürburgring for 226 kilometers of fun, an hour and 25 minutes. You can join myself and Jake Sperry for that one tomorrow. So set that in your calendars there. That will be kicking off at, I think it's 3:30 Central European time. So make sure you set your watches for that. Jan Ryler then currently in 5th place. As you can see then, 22.8 seconds behind Florent Lecour. That just shows you the pace of the top 4 has been relentless here tonight. It's got Silver Pyramids behind. But Ryler now up into 5th place as he now makes his way towards Michelin. There is David Ohak then, currently leading the way from Jan-Niklas Erbrich. And Jan-Niklas Erbrich, who was looking so comfortable in the lead there, wanted to try and make a move done. And it's cost him a lot. I think Rainer Assar then has just made a move up into 8th place, which he has. It's almost like that penalty is giving him a new lease here. He's flying out there at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if he's one of the fastest out there as to how quick he's going. But he's now up into 8th place. Dimas Spellman and Justin Mifsud battling away then for 14th place. Dimas Spellman in the Vuckerhorst Motorsport BMW makes his way now down towards turn 3. And Mifsud looking for a way past. And you can see Spellman running a little bit deep, going through turn 3 to try and prioritise his exit for turn 4. And then you can see right in front of us how that all happens. You see here Dimas Spellman holding on. A lot of support for Justin tonight, that is for sure. If you missed it, obviously Curly Kunjabo said his team name to If I Win, Justin shaves his beard. Which I'm sad to say he did disconnect from this race, unfortunately, so it will go down as a non-finish. But I think for Justin, that beard gets to stay for at least another day. But Dimas Spellman has the chance to try and defend from Justin Mifsud as we make our way through the Schumacher S. Onwards we go towards Michelin and then towards Vorsteiner. At the moment then, it is Ohak in the lead, Erbrich second, Bourne third, with Florent Lecour rounding off that top 4 right now. There is Lecour then, so he was at pole position, sitter. But it's been a bit of a quiet race for him. He had a good start. Something happened though in those early stages in that race. And it sent him down to sort of 6th place. He fought his way back up to 4th, but his pace hasn't been quite the same since. But currently 4th place. Last lap time 55.4. So maybe he had all that qualifying pace. The car set up for qualifying, and maybe it can have an effect on tyre temperatures. You have a qualifying session that really keeps the car planted as much as possible, but that has an adverse effect on the tyre temperatures, which of course, you get the tyre temperatures too high and you start sliding around, you get less grip. Tom McEwing here, meanwhile making his way through Advan and now upwards towards the NGK chicane. He's closing in on Kirsten Abaya, and Gridfinder saying he finds something suspicious about that Kunshabe disconnection. No, nothing to look into there, nothing whatsoever, I promise. Tom McEwing then making his way through, trying to find a way past Kirsten Abaya, on towards the start finish race and down towards turn 1. McEwing might have a chance here of an inside line. If he can find that right hand side, if he can try and leave his braking late, he might try a move. No, he tucks back into the toe then. Just not quite close enough to the back of Abaya there to try and challenge for that one. The battle for 9th here heating up between the two. Abaya 9th, McEwen in 10th. As you see there, McEwen taking a tighter line through turn 2. By no means a bad line for sure as we make our way through turn 3, then towards turn 4. There's Chris Bourne, currently 3rd place as he makes his way through Advan. Up towards the NGK chicane here will go. And as we've already seen, it's very bumpy through there. There's been quite a couple of occasions throughout tonight where drivers have just caught a foul on those bumps there, as we saw Tom McEwen right on the exit of the forward curve then, picking up some gravel on the way through just for good measure. I'm sure his virtual team will not be happy about grabbing that gravel out of the splitter and wherever gravel can find itself after the race, but I'm sure he'll make it up to them. I'm sure he will. At the moment, he's chasing down Kirsten Abaya for 9th place. Heading our way now in towards Michelin, then towards Vorsteiner. Through this long right-hander now. Who gets the power down first? Who gets the better exit? Tom McEwen's got a little bit of a toe now as we head through Advan. With this fast right-hander up towards the chicane. Surely not. Tom McEwen here looking for the outside line. It will become the racing line. They're going to go side by side through here. Tom McEwen backs out of it. As you can see there, that's Abaya riding those curves. McEwen now sees an opportunity to go up the inside at turn 15. Contact there. Door-to-door racing as Tom McEwen tries to find an inside line then. Kirsten Abaya might get the better exit out of the final corner. Who's going to have the better drive? Well, it's Tom McEwen who's got the inside line. If he can try and keep hold of that. Oh, they do make contact there as Abaya now switches back to the inside, going in towards turn 1. And I for sure thought for a moment there that McEwen was going around. How he didn't go around, I do not know. But Abaya switched back then to the inside line and defended that position. Going in towards the first turn. Dicey between these two, that is for sure. But they're going to battle hard for 9th place. Through turn 4 we go. McEwen, you can see there, putting Abaya under that pressure. Here we go then. Down in towards Valvoline. And then in towards forward curve here. McEwen putting all that pressure on the car ahead. Oh, they both run onto the gravel there. As they now make their way down towards Dunlop curve. You see McEwen trying to take an outside line on Abaya going through turn 7. And Abaya has the inside line. Oh, McEwen has made contact and around goes Abaya on the exit of the hairpin there. And McEwen got a better launch off the hairpin, has made contact with Kirsten Abaya, who's now found himself all the way around. Abaya rejoins in 10th place, but he's right into the path of Alan Gooch here, and he's now having to defend for 11th place, making our way now in towards Michelin and then towards Vorsteiner. So Abaya here is just going to try and regain his composure there. He's only lost that 9th place. He's still in 10th, and if he keeps his head down, he might be able to see if he can get his way back up the order. It's going to be a tough job, though, because he's got Alan Gooch right behind him. Gooch has got a 5-second penalty, though. That's going to be added to the end of his race. What Kirsten Abaya can't do now is go too aggressive and try and make that time up and lose it all. The gap for the lead, though, I have to say, has come down. It's now 1.5 seconds between David Ohak and Jan-Nicolas Erbrich. And we saw there Jan-Nicolas Erbrich try an inside move on a car that was yet to pit in the pit stop window. And, find his way around onto the grass, gave up the lead of this race. He's now paying the price for it. He's 1.4 seconds behind David Ohak. Chris Bourne then in 3rd place. You see, there's Florent Lecour slowly closing in once again. The closing stages of this race. 12.5 minutes to go in this race. It is still David Ohak leading the way. Jan-Nicolas Erbrich in 2nd place. Chris Bourne there, you can see, is in 3rd. He's got Florent Lecour in 4th place. Our pole sitter for this race, making our way now down the start-finish straight. Jan Ryler is in 5th place. Silva Pyrmits is in 6th. Michael Peresada in 7th place. Reina Rissart in 8th. Although he's got a 5-second penalty to add to the end of this race. Tom McEwen in 9th place. Kirsten Abaya rounds off the top 10. Alan Gooch is in 11th place, although he's got a 5-second penalty as well. Sandro Zara in 12th. Luca Caruana in 13th place. Steamer Spellman in 14th, Justin Mifsud in 15th place, and rounding off our top 16 is Henry Nermella, who's currently 3 laps down on the next car. Chris Bourne then is looking in his mirrors. He can see the Frenchman right behind him. As you can see there, Florent Lecour wants at least a podium out of this race. If we get a chance to talk to him, it'll be interesting to see what happened to him out there. He looks so strong in qualifying, and it hasn't really worked out for him in this race. And as you can see there, the number 89 car of Tom McEwing has now taken a 5-second penalty for causing an avoidable collision. The stewards have awarded him a penalty, 5 seconds. Will be added to the end of his race. So now you see Abaya will be seeing that potentially. If he's got team members around him, he'll be told now that McEwing has a 5-second time penalty. Chris Bourne then making his way through in towards the right-hander of Vorsteiner. Onwards we go then towards Advan, and then towards that final chicane. Chris Bourne's got it all to do. Meanwhile then, as we head towards the final 10.5 minutes in this race, David Ohak has been reeled in by Jan-Nicolas Erbrich as Alan Gooch now comes into the pit lane. You know, in theory, he could serve a 5-second penalty in the pit lane. It won't be added to the end of his race. That's in theory, of course. But Jan-Nicolas Erbrich is right on the back of our race leader. So we've got a battle for the lead in the last 10 minutes of this race. Making our way through in towards turn 2, down in towards turn 3. Let's have your predictions then. David Ohak or Jan-Nicolas Erbrich? Who's going to be the one to win as we head in towards the last 10 minutes of Germanfest here at World Pro Racing? Meanwhile, Lecour and Bourne battling for position then. Lecour trying to take 3rd place away from Chris Bourne, and he's got a good run out of turn 4. Will he have anywhere to go with that momentum down in towards Valvoline? And no way through right now. Chris Bourne defending for all it's worth for 3rd place. Going in towards now Ford Curve as we make the descend down towards Dunlop Curve. Lecour looking for a way past, but you can see there Chris Bourne defending the inside line. Lecour no way through for him. He'll have to take a slightly different line, slightly deeper into the corner. In theory, he should get more exit speed. Up the hill we go then towards the Schumacher Rest, but it looks like Chris Bourne got the better exit out of the hairpin. And Lecour's just got to try and do it all over again. In this one, still filling those mirrors of Chris Bourne right now. Just putting him under some intimidation tactics right now. You see this in GT Racing. Won't be long before we see the headlights of Florent Lecour start flashing away as a tactic. You see it all up and down GT Racing, Tin Top Racing. You see it, all of those. The flashing lights mean, I want your position. Well, in this circumstance anyway, they could mean anything, but in that case, they will mean, I want that position. Lecour then making his way through in towards the final corner. Jan-Nicolas Erbrich, meanwhile, heading down the start-finish straight. He's got a good toe from David Ohak then. Will he try and move down the inside? He will. Down the inside at turn 1. Has he got this move done? David Ohak will try a little bit of a cutback here, a little bit of a switchback. But I think Erbrich has got the position then going in towards turn 2. Lecour then can't find his way past Chris Bourne just yet, as David Ohak then can't find that way through. Jan-Nicolas Erbrich then takes back the lead of this race. And there you can see, there he is, Jan-Nicolas Erbrich leading the way with just under 8 minutes to go. He's made the pass for the lead, gets back into the race lead, and now has a job on his hands to pull away from David Ohak. Going through now, Ford Curve. Onwards we go towards Dunlop Curve. There is Florent Lecour, right on the back of Chris Bourne. Once again making our way through Ford Curve. Down we go towards the Dunlop Curve. 7.5 minutes left on the clock. Heading our way now down towards Dunlop. Again, he's on the outside here. They're going to go side by side through turn 7 here. Florent Lecour on the outside, but he can't quite find that way through just yet. Chris Bourne's got the inside line. Holds on to that position for now. Heading our way up the hill through Michelin. Through the Schumacher S. Michelin's coming up now. I'm getting ahead of myself. Upwards we go, and you can see then Lecour weaving left and right, trying to just fill those mirrors of Chris Bourne right up ahead. We head through Vorsteiner right about now. As the sun starts to set here at the Nürburgring. Into the toe, Florent Lecour will go as we head through Advan, through this long right-hander. Flat out through here. And Chris Bourne trying to find a different line. There's Lecour trying to find an inside line. Can he slow that car down? Yes, he can. But he'll take a compromised line going through the NGK chicane. Coming around the final corner. And keeping that car in check, then heading our way down the start-finish line. Lecour then has it all to do then, as we have just over 6 minutes of this race to go. Down in towards turn 1, Lecour leaving his braking as late as he dares. Without running into the back of Bourne here, taking a different line through turn 2. He's looking for a move up the inside of turn 3. Chris Bourne covers that one off. He'll have to go round the long way at turn 3, maybe try a little bit of a switchback through turn 4, carry more speed on the exit. The only problem is, as you head down towards Valvoline, there's not really many places you can go. As you can see there, he tries to weave his way through. Lecour around the outside in towards Valvoline. Can he hold on here? Very close to the grass. Can't find that way through. Bourne leaves him the space. Lecour goes down the inside, goes through the open door. Can he try and hold on now? Down towards the hairpin. Lecour gets his move. Moves now up into 3rd place. And he's been waiting for that move for a long, long time. Fair play to both of these drivers. They've given us a fantastic show for that battle for 3rd. Lecour has gotten his way past. Can Chris Bourne do anything to react to that as we head through the Schumacher S? Our pole sitter now back up onto the podium places as he makes his way now on towards the Michelin curve. Now on towards Vorsteiner. This is going to be an interesting one now. This is Chris Bourne's turn now to be on the offensive. He hasn't had to do this for his podium position. He's been on the defence for so long in this race. He's been so consistent all through this race. And then towards the very end, Florent Lecour's pace comes alive. And he's able to get the move done then. In through the final chicane. And onwards towards the final corner we will go. Less than 5 minutes to go. And we've seen 2 changes of position within the top 4. Jan-Nicolas Urbrecht leads the way from David O'Hack in 2nd place. Florent Lecour now in 3rd place. Chris Bourne is in 4th. Jan Ryler in 5th with Silva Piermetz in 6th place. Michael Peresada in 7th. Reina Rissart in 8th. Tom McEwing in 9th. Kirsten Abea rounding off the top 10. He's under pressure though from Sandro Zara in 11th place. Justin Mifsud up to 12th. Dima Spellman in 13th place. Luke Caruana in 14th place. Henry Nurmela in 15th. And Alan Gooch has come back to the pit lane. Now, he might have been there for some time because he's 3 laps down on Nurmela. And he might have called that one a day. There's your battle so far, though, for 10th place. Sandro Zara wants that position away from Kirsten Abea as we now make our way up towards Michelin and then towards Vorsteiner. And Sandro Zara try and find this way past. He hasn't got long left in this race. It's about 3.5 minutes to go. He's got about 2 laps there or thereabouts to try and find a way past the car ahead. And when you put it like that, it's not a long time at all. Up towards the final chicane, going in towards NGK. Oh, and that's a car going way off the track. Kirsten Abea has missed it completely there. Rejoins the track. And now going through the final corner then, on towards the start-finish straight. I have a feeling here Kirsten Abea may have to give up that position because he left the track. In the meantime though, Sandro Zara will try and make this move out on track, going down in towards turn 1. For the meantime though, these two are going to be battling for position. They have only got 2 laps to go in this race in theory. But what of our leader in the 299 car? Jan-Nicolas Urbrecht building that gap. 1.4 seconds between himself and David O'Hack. Sandro Zara tries to battle away for 10th place here. Making our way onwards then towards Valvoline. Looking for a way past. And there is, I think that is Abea letting the car through. Whether he was instructed to or whether he's done that on his own path. Either way, Sandro Zara now moves up into 10th place and Kirsten Abea now down to 11th place as we make our way down towards Dunlop once again. So for Zara here, he's got about a minute or so to defend from 10th place. As we ascend up the hill then towards the Schumacher rest. There's Michael Peresada then. 7th place for him right now. He's making a late charge to try and close in on Silver Pyramids once again. 1.2 seconds is the gap right about now as we make our way in towards turn 1. And the stewards have confirmed that Kirsten Abea was instructed to cede the position to Sandro Zara for that cut at the final chicane. So that has been confirmed by the stewards that was a request from the stewards. Michael Peresada though, trying to go around the outside. He's seeing there Silver Pyramid struggling in these closing stages of this race, and Peresada wants 6th place then as we make our way onwards towards Valvoline, then towards Forward Curve. With just over 60 seconds left of this 60-minute race, Michael Peresada wants 6th place. You'll see round about now, Jan-Niklas Serbrook make his way round the final corner, and he will start the final lap of this race. Michael Peresada launches a move up the inside there for 6th place. No mercy. Michael Peresada up into 6th place there. A little flash of the lights there from Silver Pyramids. I think at that moment in time he had to leave the door open. Peresada gave him no option. But Peresada up into 6th place. Aggressive, but it worked. And now he makes his way in through Michelin and up into 6th place. The final lap of this race has been started by our race leader, Jan-Niklas Serbrook. So we're going to complete 31 laps here at the Nürburgring. And Serbrook just making his way through turn 4. Onwards he will go now towards Valvoline. Michael Peresada might have a kettle of fish on his hands here because he's got Silver Pyramids, who will no doubt be riled up by that one, trying to find a way back past. So Peresada's got 1 lap to do it and hold on to that position. Through the final corner we will go on towards the start-finish straight. Oh, we got a car getting a little bit sideways on the exit there. Peresada though is trying to build that gap now to Silver Pyramids behind. As we make our way now down towards turn 1. He's slowly building that gap, that's for sure. Jan-Niklas Serbrook then making his way through the Schumacher S. Onwards he will go then towards Michelin and Vorsteiner. Well, he had a scare early on in this race when he tried to battle a car going through. And meanwhile, Michael Peresada and Silver Pyramids are not done going through turn 4. Oh, they make contact and Peresada around. He was on the inside there, tagged the left-hand side front panel, and he finds himself around. And all that hard work has not been rewarded for Michael Peresada. Meanwhile then, Jan-Niklas Serbrook, oh, he's run off. He's run off at the final chicane. Going through into the final lap. Around the final corner he will go. David Ohak just wasn't close enough to take advantage. And Jan-Niklas Serbrook then will come towards the checkered flag to win Germanfest here at World Pro Racing. Jan-Niklas Serbrook wins. David Ohak in 2nd place. Florent Lecour comes across the line. He will grab the last podium place. Our pole position sitter finishing on the podium. Chris Spawn, he'll be very happy with that one. 4th place for himself. And a good battle for 3rd at the closing stages of this race. Jan Ryler, meanwhile, since about the pit window, he's had a bit of a lonely race. But to keep your composure and make sure you keep on keeping on, 5th place will be a very, very respectable result for him as he makes his way around the final corner and onwards towards the start-finish line to take the checkered flag, and 5th place for himself. A very solid drive from Jan Ryler then. We've got Kirsten Abea then trying to chase down Sandro Zara for 10th place in this race. Going up the hill now as we head our way towards the Schumacher S. For Kirsten Abea, who's only got half the track really left to try and make a move, and there's not many opportunities you can get a move done through this final section. Peresada, meanwhile, finishes in 7th with Silver Pyramids picking up 6th place. Rainer Rissar will cross the line. He's going to get 8th place for now. Tom McEwing will get 9th place for now. As we see here, Kirsten Abea. I think that's the 315 of Nurmela right ahead of him. And, sorry, that's the second car ahead is Nurmela. So that's going to be a back marker to throw into the mix here. Sandro Zara is now being closed right up by Kirsten Abea thanks to that back marker. Abea will try and go up the inside here. He's onto the curbs as we make our way through the final corner then. Going door to door. trying to get the run to the line. Who's going to get there first for 10th place? It's going to be Kirsten Abaya, who takes advantage there and grabs 10th place ahead of Sandro Zara then, as that back marker just decided to spice up the action towards the end then. But what a great race we had in the end. We had Jan-Niklas Erbrich then. We saw him have two big moments. One, you know, just going at the end of that pit window, trying to battle someone who was due to come in anyway. And then at the moment at the end then, cutting the final chicane. Luckily, he was about 2.5 seconds ahead of David Ohak right behind him. So he shouldn't find himself in too much of a hot water incident after that one. However, provisionally, he has taken the race win ahead of David Ohak. And our pole position sitter finishes there in 3rd place. And it was a great race from all involved. Good standards all around as well. We had some aggressive moves. We had some good defending. We had some great respect out on track. And pit lane drama as well. The race really had it all to have it all. It was a great opportunity to join you and bring this race to you. So a big thank you to everyone behind the scenes, as well as our sponsors as well, Gaming Malta, AMD, HyperX, GT Omega Racing and Thrustmaster. And wherever you've been watching, whether it's on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch or on Facebook, make sure you give a like, a subscribe, a follow wherever you are watching there to make sure you don't miss another race. And if you've been watching on ESTV, Motorsport TV and TVM Sport, it's been a pleasure to have you along for the ride here for this hour race at German Fest. It's been a fantastic race, and hopefully we'll get a chance to speak to some of our drivers very, very shortly, as we'll see who is into the lobby. I think we can speak to our 3rd place driver in Florent Lacour. Florent, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Florent, it's great to have you with us. Talk us through that race, because you made it look like pole position there by 1.1 seconds. 3rd place in the race. What happened to you out there?
Good qualification, but I miss my turn in the S turn, Schumacher turn. But I had to push to get position, and I had to pit early because my right side of my car are too low, so I need to pit early, and I push back again, and finally I get the 3rd position. It's a good result for the start of the race. So. Well, good race.
Absolutely. And talk us through that battle between yourself and Chris Sport, because that looked really good towards the end there. He made a good battle, didn't he?
Yeah. Good battles, good move, and he let me pass finally in 2 last laps. But yeah, good battles.
Yeah, and you said you had to pit early there.
Yeah.
Did you find pitting early was an advantage, because you rejoined quite a way down the order after that?
I lost so much time with my tire, so I need to pit when I can. So when I see the pit it's open, I pit.
Well, I will say, Florent, it's been a pleasure to talk to you.
Thanks.
The floor is yours for any shout-outs, any sponsors you'd like to mention.
Thanks all of you guys, World Pro Racing and the sponsor. Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure to talk to you, Florent. Congratulations on your 3rd place then. We hope to see you at World Pro Racing very soon.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Let's speak to our 2nd place driver in David Ohak. David, can you hear us?
Yes, of course.
David, for a short time in that race, you were leading it. Then was a great battle between yourself and Jan-Niklas Erbrich. How were your feelings when you took the lead of that race about halfway through?
It was a really how to say it. I think I knew that Jan is much faster than I. So I feel really a little bit stressed there. So I'm give my maximum, but I know that Jan give the position back.
Yeah, and whenever it came to qualifying, obviously we've already talked to Florent there. I mean, he was 1.1 seconds ahead of anybody else. What were your feelings going into that race?
Yes, I see that. It was much faster than I and Jan. So I speak with Jan, and our strategy was do really consistently laps, and we do it. So I'm really happy.
You sound it as well. And second place in this race from, I believe it was third on the grid. Just talk us through that race, because you made it look easy out there.
Yes, I would say I have a really good pace, so I don't do any mistakes or big mistakes. And that was the strategy. So I do it properly, I think. I have really good pace, I think. And yeah, here it is. P1 and P2 for DJ Racing, so I'm very happy.
Very good. And David, the floor is yours for any sponsors, any shout outs you'd like to have.
So first of all, I would say thank you, World Pro Racing, for these great events. And also my girlfriend. And of course, my father. So I think that's everything.
Well, great stuff, David. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. Congratulations on your second place. We'll leave you now to go and celebrate.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And let's have a chat to our race winner of German Fest. I asked the question, can it get any more German than a BMW at the Nürburgring? It turns out it can, because Jan-Niklas Erbrich has won the race. Jan, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Jan, you didn't make that easy for a race win, did you? I mean, talk us through that, because halfway through the race, you're battling someone that's yet to pit, you have a spin, rejoin in second place. What's going through your mind at that point?
Yeah, it was a really dumb mistake. Yeah, I was driving behind him, and I knew he has to pit in this lap, so I thought maybe I stay behind him to be safe. And then he was slow on the straight, and I thought, okay, maybe he gives me some space. He gave me enough space, and then yeah, I thought it would be a good idea to drive the curb. I've never driven on that straight, where I don't know what will happen. And yeah, I almost spun. Could hit the brakes early enough. I was really lucky not to crash into the barrier there. Yeah, from there on, I was going into the hunter mode to try to catch up to David, which was really hard. Which was really hard to do. Yeah, and I think he had some high tire pressure. So maybe if he had the correct pressures, it would have been harder to.
Yeah, and you had some great battles with your teammate there. I mean, team orders completely thrown out the window, weren't they? You had a great battle out there.
Yes. I'd say we did not want to make a Whitehead Acquisi situation like Monza in the last races. We gave each other space, and yeah, we wanted to finish both on the podium. Yeah.
Absolutely. And obviously, Jan-Niklas, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. Congratulations on your win. The floor's now yours for any sponsors, any shout-outs you'd like to have.
Yeah, I want to shout out the WPR crew who did a fantastic race with all the servers and that things. To Justin Mifsud, who raced with us tonight, which was really fun. Yeah, to David Ohak for changing our to give each other the experience with the setup and so on. And of course to my girlfriend who's watching right now. And maybe my father, if he's not sleeping.
Well, Jan-Niklas, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. Congratulations on your win. You are the winner of German Fest here at World Pro Racing. Go and enjoy it. Well done.
Thank you.
And that's concluding all of our driver interviews. It leaves me to thank you for watching along wherever you have been watching. Make sure you tune in. Well, you have to wait less than 24 hours for our next race. We've got 226 kilometres of the Nürburgring. Myself and Jake Sperry will be taking you through all the action over the hour and 25 we've got to bring to you. It's been a pleasure to bring this race to you wherever you are watching, whether it's on Twitch, on YouTube, on Facebook. Make sure you like, you subscribe and you follow on all those platforms. Make sure you never miss another race again. And of course on ESTV, Motorsport TV and TVM Sport. It's been a pleasure to bring this race to you. A big thank you to our sponsors in Gaming Malta, AMD, HyperX, GT Omega Racing and Thrustmaster. And a big shout out to the crew behind the scenes in Adrian Figallo and George Muscat, our stewarding team, as well as Nathan Mifsud behind the scenes on the cameras and in the director's booth tonight. And of course, the most important thing is Justin's beard is safe for another day. Until next time, it's been a pleasure to bring you this race, and we hope to see you on track very soon. In the meantime, take care of yourselves and have a very good evening. Good night.
World Pro Racing, where sim racing becomes real.
Senna was a god. No one could even dream to follow him.
I'm from a very humble background.
The role of women at that time were really difficult.
It's just so dangerous. You are risking not only your life, but also my life.
World Pro Racing, where sim racing becomes real.